Hello and welcome to the channel. Insecurity has been a major challenge for Nigeria over the last few years, and contrary to what they may have you believe, it seems to be getting worse. Makes you wonder why they are putting a spin on it, the powers that be. Are they just being deliberately clueless, or they actually think so themselves? President Tinubu wasted no time in getting new security details to try and do what the previous guys could not. But that is only just the beginning. A lot more still needs to be done. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. Insecurity. Also Villa playing host to those Nigeria should have prosecuted. Colonel Stan Labo. During the week, President Bola Tinubu met with the new service chiefs. Following their meeting, the service chiefs, as usual, dished out what they want Nigerians to expect from the appointments. While some Nigerians think their promises are the same old stories, many others are busy debating on the quality of the appointees, including whether it is appropriate for a retired policeman to be appointed as the National Security Advisor. Well, to answer some of the questions, Colonel Hassan Stan Labo, a security expert, was on Arise television saying that the appointments were in order, noting that the gentlemen picked are highly qualified in every perspective. He stressed, however, that what is left is for us to see how they bring the wealth of experience which they've garnered all along the years. Let's see how they apply them to the security challenges we have. You know they are multifaceted. Racism in the northeast, northwest and north central, banditry, nappings and agitations for self-rule in the southeast. In the south-south, there's oil theft, which also involves some of those who are supposed to be custodians of our common patrimony. Reviewing the statistics on the level of security incidences, he said there seems to be downward trend, adding that in May, we had 332 incidents compared to April, when we had 382 incidents. So we saw a 13.1% downward trend in terms of incidents. Colonel Stan Labo noted that the situation on the ground is proof that Nigeria is at war, whether we want to accept it or not. Adding, Mr. President, who is the commander-in-chief, has picked fresh commanders to work. I want to believe that in doing this, he must avail them because things can never be like before. We must avail them of job descriptions, place timelines, and we must begin to look at milestones along the line. And we must avail adequate resources to make sure they are able to achieve all this. As a way forward, he suggested that government embarks on a national security sector reform. This, according to him, will go a long way in addressing the gamut of challenges within the security problems: funding, manpower, logistics and equipment, training, operations, welfare motivation, border protection, intelligence surveillance, etc. I think we haven't achieved much due to what I call corruption. We don't want a situation where you allocate money to defense for equipment to be bought and people go and bring in refurbished equipment, and those who I call monitoring and evaluation have collected their own cuts. While harping on the importance of healthy synergy between the service chiefs, he said, all efforts must be done by this team to decrease the ability of non-state actors in challenging use of force by the states. They must make sure that is done because it is really disturbing a lot of things. They must engage non-kinetic measures or approaches in addressing most of the problems. These are measures aimed at the hearts and minds of the people, and the belligerents we are fighting had exploited this loophole in our approach all along because we stayed hooked on believing that the kinetic measure can't do it. These guys started providing for people things government in the past couldn't do, all things which money had been voted for in the past. So the government must be smart. We shall dominate every forest within the land space of Nigeria. Call it Sambisa forest or whatever. After 10 years of fighting racism, we are still shamelessly saying BH is in control of Sambisa forest. No, no, no. That is not acceptable. The Nigerian armed forces can do better. Still, on the issue of non-state actors guiding our strategic national assets, the security expert said, It's rather unfortunate that we have condescended to a point where we turn over to those we should be prosecuting to watch over our common patrimony. I feel so disappointed as a Nigerian, as an individual whose constituency should be responsible for taking care of such. It is only a clear indication that the system has failed us, and there is a need for us to go back to the drawing table and see what we can do about it. Colonel Labo further lamented how the monster known as corruption has destroyed Nigeria. I don't have a better word for corruption, but I will say that corruption has permeated every aspect of Nigerian life, every department of our lives, such that you don't know who to trust anymore. If you look at the oil theft thing, you feel highly embarrassed because this heavy and huge quantity of oil cannot be moved without very responsible people who we even voted to take care of our common patrimony, putting their signatures and approving it. There is no how you can convince me that it was not approved from above, and that is why I call sheer trash and balderdash what Asari came on here accusing military of 99% of the actions ongoing to be responsible to the military. If you say that, what percentage would you say the presidency is responsible for? What percentage would you say the top shots in NNPC are responsible for? And what of the IOCs, etc.? Just because you are pursuing your own contract, the way Tom Polo has gotten his, and because we are now playing host, even in the villa, to people we should have prosecuted long ago, it is unfortunate. You are even sitting down to address the nation. Who are you? Citing the promises and declarations by the new chiefs about what they have in store for Nigeria, which, according to Dr. Abati, are same old stories, Colonel Stan Labo said, the whole thing boils down to leadership question. With due respect, Nigeria in the last 8 years had no leadership. It is my impression as a voter, and I wasted my vote. And to address the security situation in the southeast, he declared that one major priority area in the southeast, which will cool off great deal of nerves, is to bring Kanu out. That gentleman, pull him out, stop this incarceration. I know some of his pronouncements or maybe lines of his actions and so on were offensive to the Nigerian state, and there was need to take certain actions. But you see, Nigeria itself is a family. That's my picture of Nigeria. When part of the family feel offended as parents, as a father, you sit the gentleman down or the child down and try to find out what the problems are. Can we start talking with Kanu? Can we start talking with IPOB? Can we start talking with other groups? I think a conversation with some of the groups will go a long way to addressing these issues. We must not apply the stick always. Bring in the carrots sometimes, and let's see the carrots and sticks diplomacy at play. I think we can do that, and if we do that, the situation in the southeast will be greatly doused. Frankly speaking, further incarceration will only make him more and more relevant, only heightens the heroship over him. He is a hero now, whether we accept it or not, and we made him the hero. We have made him a hero in the southeast. If he comes out now, he can't contest the governorship election in any of the states. Nobody will even ask him if he is from the states. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.